Welcome back to the vlog. We're back in England now. So at the weekend, as if you watch the videos, you know that I've been racing at the Tour of Ulster over in Northern Ireland, and for those of you that follow me on Strava will have seen that for stages 2 and 3 my power meter was just not really working. Like, it would come in for a little bit and then I would get some weird spikes, and I think my average power allegedly for stage 3 was 22 watts. So either I'm not going very well at all, or there is a little bit of a problem somewhere. I tried recalibrating the power meter and that didn't seem to do the trick. So I've just nipped to the shop this morning, bought a new battery, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that fixes the problem. It's a little bit frustrating as the power meter is only like 2 weeks old and it's barely done any miles. So despite putting a new battery in, the power meter still doesn't seem to be working, my quark. I just did a calibration on the power meter and it calibrated at minus 32,211. Yeah, something definitely doesn't seem right there. I don't really know what I'm gonna do about that. I mean, it's brand new, like I literally bought the thing 2 weeks ago. All right, that is what it is. I'm gonna have to deal with it later on. Can't really focus on it now. I don't really need it for today's session, luckily. So it's Wednesday today. We finished the tour on Monday. Yesterday, obviously, I took a rest day, didn't do anything, and my legs were in absolute bits. I still feel pretty sore today, but hopefully, like by the time I get into the bulk of the session, they'll loosen off a little bit. 3 days with 300 miles of racing, or 300 miles of hard racing, does take it out of you. But yeah, anyway, today back on it, back training for this weekend. We got the Lincoln Grand Prix on Sunday. And then next, like in the middle of next week or the end of next week, we're heading back over to Ireland, however this time down to the Republic rather than the North, for the RAS, an 8-day stage race, a UCI stage race. At the minute my training's a little bit shorter, but more intense. So today I'm doing a 2-hour session, but with 3 10-minute blocks of sprints. So quite an intense session, but it should get the legs turning and spin some life back into my legs that died over the last 3 days.
In the stillness somewhere above, the city lights, you're falling in love. Still aware, you know it is true, that you are lost and this is a clue. Love is forever.
So that's 2 sets of sprints done. I got one more set to go. It feels weird, like being back out, just training back on home roads, like on my own without the lads. I spent the last sort of 4 or 5 days with the guys. I feel like I want a bit of a come down now. And I saw a comment on my video yesterday and it said that something along the lines of how, like, the St. Piran guys, the teammates, you seem more like friends rather than teammates. Steve really has created a team or a team dynamic where we are just all like a bunch of mates just racing our bikes and enjoying what we're doing, rather than like a strict sort of team regime. Whilst we were at the Tour of Ulster, I probably had some of the hardest days that I've ever had on a bike, and I feel like now it's just so much easier to go harder and sacrifice yourself and just batter yourself to help win the race for your teammates when they are like your friends rather than just a teammate. It's really hard to explain, but you know, when I'm looking from like the outside in at the team St. Piran as a whole, and it makes me really happy to be part of something just something so cool. I just got back from my ride. It was just a 2-hour ride today with some sprints, some short intervals, and I'm just like taking a look now properly at my power meter. Quark have like this little cool app that you can connect your power meter to, and like just basically it gives you all the different details and it allows you to check the firmware, update the firmware. I had to update the firmware, but it's still giving me this crazy torque offset value of minus 32,000, and it's still just not working. I don't really know what to do here. As you can see, we've got the latest firmware version there. Yeah, I don't know. The weird thing is though that when I'm riding and I'm pedaling, it's still registering the RPM, so I'm still getting my cadence, just no power. Weird. So there may have been an element to the videos over the past few days which might not have made a lot of sense to some of you. Something that I probably should have explained at the start of the trip, and that is, as you saw during the videos in the Tour of Ulster, Steve was driving the car. He was actually our DS for that particular race. He wasn't racing, hence why he was driving the car and in the videos whilst the race was on. The reason for that is because this year Steve, although he's one of the team riders at St. Piran, is also taking more of a managerial role as he starts to wind down his cycling career. So he's still racing this year. He's still doing the British Premier calendar races and a few different races. But also this year he's going to be our DS or Director Sportif at some of the races. And yeah, the Tour of Ulster was one of those. Another one is the RAS in 2 weeks' time when we go back to Ireland. The RAS, for those of you that don't know, is an 8-day stage race around the Republic of Ireland. He's also going to be our DS and team manager in that race. Hopefully that clears up any confusion as to why Steve wasn't racing last weekend.
Light as a feather, light as a feather, lucid dreaming over Tokyo.